Here are 6 powerful behaviors that can completely change your life when you are an elderly person living alone. Age-old sage advice. What should you do initially if you unexpectedly find yourself in a situation where you are by yourself in your later years? Living by oneself after having been in a relationship for decades is one of the most challenging transitions in life. Loneliness at the age of 60 or 70 is not only frequent, but it is fundamentally human. This can be caused by a number of factors, including the death of a spouse, the relocation of children to a distant location, or even the simple passage of time. Let me tell you something that the majority of people won't tell you. Being alone oneself does not necessarily mean that one is lost. If you find yourself becoming older and having to face life on your own, we are going to walk you through 6 actions that are both significant and prudent to do through this video. This is not a list of nebulous suggestions or meaningless solace. Many people who are in their latter years have taken these activities, which are grounded and realistic, in order to not only endure being alone, but also to discover a new form of calm and purpose in their isolation. Please stay with us until the very end because the 6th step is something that very few people discuss. But it has the potential to be the moment that completely changes the way you think about things. It is the one change that has the potential to transition you from a state of solitude to one of quiet inner power. Let's get started. Priority 1. Establishing a physical grounding regimen. When older individuals find themselves living alone, one of the first things they do is establish a little, consistent physical regimen that helps them feel more grounded throughout the day. To feel anchored, not for the sake of fitness or for the sake of show. Time might seem hazy when you are by yourself. The framework of the days is lost, and it is simple to drift through the days without even being aware of it. Rhythm is created through a basic, repetitive activity, such as stretching in the morning, watering plants at the same hour, or walking the same calm road. Rhythm is what gives a sensation of control, and it is created through simple, repetitive movements. In the field of psychology, there is a concept known as somatic grounding, which essentially refers to the utilization of the body in order to stabilize the mind. Every morning, when you touch the same wooden chair, when you feel the floor beneath your feet, or when you raise your arms into the air while taking a leisurely breath, you are communicating to your neurological system that you are present, that you are safe, and that you are continuing to move. That seemingly insignificant bodily action becomes a means of re-establishing a sense of certainty in a world that gives the impression of having lost its shape. Take, for example, Walter, who is 81 years old and the widower of his wife of 52 years. His routine consisted of a leisurely stroll to the mailbox first thing in the morning, even on days when there was no mail inside. In his words, the stroll was not the issue at hand. To demonstrate to myself that I was still a part of the world was the purpose of this. Brick by brick, he was able to reconstruct his days with the help of that one action. And that is what a physical routine might represent. There is a brick that is gentle but steady beneath your feet, serving as a reminder that the basis of the home is still strong, despite the fact that the house may feel empty at this moment. Will I go with the second stage, which is to build community through a small purpose? Next, the second place goes to community through a modest aim. When you are older and living by yourself, it is simple to fall into the trap of thinking that the world does not require your presence as much as it did in the past. But those who are sensible in their later years are aware that the quickest way to feel alive again is to become useful in even the smallest degree. This does not mean making spectacular gestures or lifting heavy things, rather, it means making a contribution in a modest way. Volunteering 5 days a week or establishing a foundation are not required to accomplish this goal. A simple act of kindness could consist of putting an extra bird feeder on the porch of a neighbor, baking a pie for someone who is recovering from surgery, or checking in with a younger person who is going through a difficult time in their life. These little offers bring you back together in the hectic routine of another person's life. They provide as a constant reminder that your very presence is still significant. There is a very restorative quality to the experience of being wanted. It demonstrates that you are not only wasting time, rather, you are molding it for the benefit of other people. This is what psychologists refer to as generative purpose, and it has been related to lower rates of sadness, better sleep, and even longer lifespans in older individuals. This is not because of what you do, but rather because of what it symbolizes, that you are still a member of the circle. Take Ruth, who is 77 years old and lives by herself in a peaceful neighborhood. Despite the fact that she does not drive anymore, she calls 3 individuals on her street every Thursday. She does not offer any advice, rather, she simply listens to them. We refer to it as their Thursday check-in, and it has developed into something that each and every one of them looks forward to. This creates a role for her. The fact that it provides them with reassurance and makes her feel intimately connected in a world that frequently goes too quickly to recognize the quiet ones is a significant benefit. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Structure that serves as a mooring for you comes in third. When you are an older person living alone, one of the most common mistakes you may make is to fall into a life that is devoid of routine. The days can begin to blend together, and before you know it, you'll find that you're living without any real structure. This is not because you've chosen to live this way, rather, it's because you've drifted. However, those who are more experienced are aware that even a simple regimen can be a lifeline. Discipline in the military is not necessarily synonymous with structure. The act of walking to the mailbox at the same time every morning, drinking your coffee on the porch while listening to the same radio station, or scheduling a weekly time to call someone you care about are all examples of basic examples that may be used to establish a routine. These procedures serve as anchors throughout the system. They create a structure, a rhythm, and a motivation for you to keep moving throughout the day. When you are in the company of other people, the framework of your day will frequently organize itself around them. On the other hand, when you are by alone, you have to find that rhythm within yourself. In the absence of it, even seemingly insignificant choices, such as when to eat or what to do next, can start to feel more burdensome than they ought to. To add insult to injury, carrying that weight might eventually lead to mental and emotional exhaustion. It is for this reason that older people who are intelligent choose to make certain aspects of their day predictable. Because stability is brought about by predictability, and in a world that seems to be becoming more and more chaotic, peace is brought about by steadiness. Your day is not going to be dull because of this. This means that your mind does not have to always be searching for a way to go. It is possible to conserve that energy for the times that are truly life-consuming. Consider the case of Bill, who is 81 years old and begins his day by eating bread, peanut butter, and reading one chapter of a Western novel. It is not because he is required to, but rather because he wants to feel prepared for whatever the day may bring. That he follows it up with 10 minutes of stretching. It's not a particularly fancy routine, but it's what gives him momentum. The importance of momentum cannot be overstated when one is living alone. The fourth item is a location that can be observed. When you live by yourself, you may have a growing sense of silent pain, not only from the absence of company, but also from the sensation of being invisible. It is the feeling that your presence is no longer significant to the world in the same way that it was in the past. The fact of the issue is, however, that it may still be significant. The only thing it needs is a place to land. The elderly are well aware of this fact. They build or find areas in which they can be seen and heard. Not necessarily in loud or public ways, but in ways that are constant and significant. A weekly trip to the community center, a seat at a cafe that you are familiar with, or participation in a hobby club that people notice if you do not show up are all examples of this. It has nothing to do with attention. This is about acknowledging the fact. When you live by yourself, it is really simple to avoid being seen by others. It is possible for days to go by without anybody calling your name. And the stillness that you experience can erode your sense of who you are. On the other hand, when someone calls you by your name or says, "It's great to see you again," it is a confirmation that you are still a part of the fabric of other people's lives. These brief moments of awareness are not insignificant, rather, they are essential to survival. These things help to restore a sense of identity and belonging. Regardless of whether it is the cashier who remembers your preferred snack or the librarian who recognizes your return, it is important to be remembered. The fact that you are still a part of a world that sees you is demonstrated by these seemingly little actions. According to Margaret 79, she has a habit of sitting on the same seat in the vicinity of the Rose Garden in town every Tuesday. Over the course of time, joggers began waving. At one point, a young man riding a bicycle stopped to inquire about her name. On a weekly basis, she now waves to 5 or 6 different people. Even though none of them are particularly close friends, it makes no difference. She does not remain unseen. The fact that she is a typical part of the environment is what makes all the difference. I would appreciate it if you could use the 4th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The 5th point is a rhythm that carries you. If you are living by yourself, especially as you become older, you may find that the hours begin to coincide with one another. There is no discernible transition from morning to afternoon, and the days go by with very nothing to serve as a point of reference. Nevertheless, people who age sensibly are aware of this fact. Rhythm is the key to maintaining mental and spiritual equilibrium. Not merely a rhythm, but a routine as well. Something that, in addition to bringing structure, also brings flow and movement as well. Something that keeps you moving forward, even on the days when you don't feel like moving at all, is something that you should have. Even something as simple as getting up at the same time every day, watering your plants first thing in the morning, going for a stroll in the middle of the day, or writing in a notebook before going to bed can be considered a rhythm. The consistency is far more important than the specifics that are being discussed. The returning, the repetition, and the constant heartbeat of a day that has shape and intention are all things that are important. When so much else in life appears uncertain, rhythm provides a sense of consistency and regularity that is profoundly soothing. This is especially true when thinking about the psychological aspects of rhythm. Additionally, it helps you feel more in charge of your life, reduces stress, and promotes sleep. The day is given a purpose, which is possibly the most significant aspect of it. After you have established a rhythm for your day, you will no longer be merely waiting for something to take place. You are going to be taking part in your life once more. On the wall of his kitchen, Walter 82 keeps a calendar that he has written by hand. It is soup day on Mondays. The day for crossword puzzles is Tuesday. It is Wednesday when he prunes his roses. Every Thursday, he gives his daughter a call. Every Friday, he likes to watch movies by himself. He spends Saturdays reading old letters again. On Sundays, he takes a break. According to him, it can appear to be nothing to other people, but to me, it is everything. I am able to determine that I am still alive, and not only existing. Having 1 or 2 daily anchors, something that you can rely on, can help lift you out of the sensation of floating that sometimes comes with being alone. You do not need to fill this every hour, but having 1 or 2 anchors can help. As time goes on, you start to anticipate the small pleasures that happen to you, and those small pleasures gradually start to build up momentum. As you spend time by yourself, rhythm transforms into a soothing friend. Through the void, it maintains your grip on your hand. Not only does it give your time a form, but it also says, let's give it another shot. Taking a walk outside is the sixth reason to do so. Find just one reason, any reason at all, to go outside every single day. This is one of the most effective things you can do when you are an elderly person who lives alone. Mostly due to the fact that the longer you remain inside, the more limited your environment becomes. Furthermore, the more limited your environment becomes, the more likely it is that you will lose your sense of joy, connection, and feeling of wonder. Elderly people who are wise are aware of this, and they do not wait for a bright day or a significant occasion to provide them with an excuse. They leave the house to go and purchase one apple. 10 minutes are spent by them sitting on the porch. It is just for the sake of greeting the wind that they walk to the corner. Although it may appear to be uncomplicated, these seemingly insignificant actions hold significant weight. Your energy will change while you are outside. Your spirit is reminded that there is still a world that is worth showing up for. Your body is reminded of how to move, and your lungs are provided with the opportunity to breathe fully. Psychologists have known for a long time that being exposed to nature and breathing fresh air are beneficial to one's mental health. It is possible to alleviate symptoms of sadness, boost mood, and regulate sleep by simply spending a short amount of time in natural light and open space. But the scientific aspect is not the only one. In other words, it is about having a soul and being a part of something that extends beyond the confines of your living room. Consider Carol, who is 77 years old. After the death of her husband 5 years ago, she is now living by herself. She walks to the small coffee stand 3 blocks away every morning. Regardless of whether it is raining or shining, the same thing, a small decaf with extra cream, is what she orders every time. She asserts that the coffee is not the primary concern here. It's the stroll, the neighbor who waves from their window, and the act of moving toward anything, no matter how insignificant it may be, that serves as a reminder to her that she is still a part of the world. Even while your body may not have the same desire for excitement as it had when you were younger, your spirit will continue to yearn for it. Additionally, going outside, even if it's just for 5 minutes, is a chance to make a statement to yourself that you are still here and that the world is still here for you. I would appreciate it if you could use the 6th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Now, let's proceed with our plans. Lastly, some thoughts. When you are an older person who lives by yourself, the silence can sometimes feel like it is more burdensome than the years themselves. However, here is the reality. When you are by yourself, you do not necessarily have to be lost. You are still the creator of your days, the proprietor of your rhythm, your breath, your generosity, and your hope. You are still the author of your days. Is there anything on today's list that particularly stuck out to you? Are you referring to the concept of meticulously prepping your space? Should you have made an effort to communicate with another person before the stillness consumes your morning? Or, perhaps it was the prompt to go outside, even if it was only for a few minutes, to experience the sensation of the air on your skin and to be reminded that you are a part of this environment. There are ways that are genuinely human, but there is no perfect way to negotiate the process of aging alone. There are ways that can bring significance, warmth, and light into the utter silence. The ways that transform loneliness into strength and habits into hope are described here. This is not merely a matter of surviving these years, rather, you are molding them. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.